Hey everyone, Kyle once again, and welcome back to the next movie review. The next movie review for the first movie review of 2025. But of course, starting off on a rant though. But you know what? Because I'm doing a couple of other films, so it's not gonna be just a rant. Starting off with a rant, so I got another movie review that's gonna be more positive. So, because I enjoyed that film more than this film because. This film, I would say, is not a ripoff of the next movie I'm going to be doing though, but it feels like it because it's sort of almost kind of like the same premise almost though. But anyway, starting off though with this year though, but it's a film that's I did not like this film. I don't. To me, it sucks because it's not, number one, the main thing is it's not funny. The jokes are not funny, and I don't think the chemistry between the two main characters, it was not there. So, today I'll be reviewing is of the 2015, the 2015 comedy movie, well, action as well, but whatever action there wasn't much. But, Hot Pursuit. So Hot Pursuit, even the cover of this film, it looks lame. You know, I mean, it looks like a freaking this is the same as the poster. So it's a lazy poster. You know, it's just like two of them photoshops there. It's lazy. You know. So yeah, so Hot Pursuit, and no, it's not affiliated with the John Cusack movie. So. Not affiliated with that, but this is the 2015 movie. So Hot Pursuit from 2015 stars Reese Witherspoon and Sofia Vergara, and it's directed by Anne Fletcher. Anne Fletcher she's the one who directed films like the first Step Up with Channing Tatum, the first one. Then she will go on to direct 27 Dresses. The Guilt Trip. She directed the Proposal with Sandra Bullock and Ryan Reynolds. I did not mind that movie. And then she directed this film, and then film collab, which I've not seen, called Dumplin' from 2018. And then she would go on to direct the sequel, Hocus Pocus 2. And I think she said she's going to direct the third Hocus Pocus movie. Jeez, you know. First of all, the Hocus Pocus, the first film, did not need to get a sequel anyway, you know? This, right off the bat. All the witches are dead, and now the sequel, all of a sudden there's another black candle that with a black flame, whatever, to bring them back to life. I'm like, great. Did I need a sequel in the first? I wasn't even really big on the first Hocus Pocus film anyway. But anyway. But she's going to direct the second film, and then she's going to direct the third Hocus Pocus. I'm like, not needed and not wanted. So, but this film. Now, what I mean with the kind of type of premise where there are these two. One is a cop and one is a criminal. They're on the run, going from long trips from point A to point B. A long road trip, basically. Now the next movie review I'll be doing is kind of like similar to that, which is a much better movie and which a much better cast as well. And it's more of a, it's not a rip off, but similar premise, you know. And that is of this movie, Midnight Run, with Robert De Niro and Charles Grodin. So it was kind of like this. It's kind of like a version of this movie, almost in a way. But the thing is, though, this is a much more lame duck of I can't say rip because it's not a remake or rip off though, but it's like a version of this movie, a different version of it. So, but this film, like I said, the thing is, this is not funny, and I didn't care for the chemistry between Reese Witherspoon and Sofia Vergara. I mean, I'm not a big fan of Sofia Vergara at all. I mean, a lot of times with her, accent. I can't really, a lot of times I just can't stand what she's saying. I mean, Reese Witherspoon, I don't mind Reese Witherspoon. I mean, did not mind her from the first Legally Blonde film. I liked her voice in Monsters vs. Aliens. But I'm not the biggest Reese Witherspoon. I mean, she's alright. I mean, but I didn't care for I didn't care for the chemistry between these two anyway. It's like here, the chemistry, which I bought much more though. So, but anyway, just like this film did not do that well at all. I mean, it has an 8% Rotten Tomatoes, it's a 5.1 on IMDb. I mean, it cost about $35 million. This film had a $35 million budget. It made $34 million in the U.S., barely a flop in the U.S., and then worldwide made $51 million with help overseas. So it overall didn't do that well because, you know, with taking the market and all that stuff, you know. So yeah, it was not. This film was not. Did basically got trashed by critics. But getting into the film, we have, Reese Witherspoon, her character when she was a kid, when she was a kid, she wanted to be a cop because her dad was a cop. Which her character's name is Rose Cooper, and at times we have montages of when she was a kid. She was just in the back of a police car, of her dad's police car, while he's going on his assignments, eating donuts, doing this and that. You know, first off, suppose if you're in the back, if you're as your kid in the back of a police car, as opposed to if her dad had to go on assignments and catch dangerous criminals, what are you gonna do? Put the dangerous criminal back in the car with your daughter? Great dad, you know. Suppose as you go on these dangerous missions like high pursuits and stuff, and your kid's in the back of the car, and while you going on high pursuits, you know, she's gonna be rocking around in the back seat, you know. So, yeah, so that's a great dad, you know, to bring your kid along, you know, on these, you know. But and I don't think that they explain why her dad, what happened with her dad, you know. I barely remember this movie, so I apologize, but I don't know if her dad was murdered or not, though. But they don't explain much about what happened with her dad. So, and by the way, this is in Texas, by the way, and not Sofia. Reese Witherspoon trying with a Texan accent, which I'm sorry I don't buy. But she's now a police officer, and she's working at evidence locker because she accidentally set the mayor's son on fire because she had a taser and the guy had alcohol on him and he got tased and he got set on fire. So now she's working in the evidence locker, and her boss, the police captain, is played by Carroll Lynch. Now, Carroll Lynch, I don't mind. I always didn't mind this guy as an actor. You know, I mean, he's been mostly supporting roles. You know, I mean, he was in Shutter Island as that guard. You know, when DiCaprio and Mark Ruffalo they first arrive. You know, gentlemen, welcome to Shutter Island. Of course, he was the guy who they accused who was the Zodiac killer in real life. He was that one guy in the real life. They assumed this guy was the Zodiac killer, but he wasn't. I always remember him from Volcano. He was the character Stan who worked with the subway trains, and he sacrificed himself saving the train driver when he jumped into the lava and he saved the guy and he melts into it. That's the guy. That's the role I remember him the most. You know, when his character is sacrificed and melted in the lava when he jumped into it. I also know he also played Simon, the kid's father in Mercury Rising with Bruce Willis, where Alec Baldwin's character hired a guy to kill the parents and kill the kid because he was autistic because he solved the super code, you know. That was a good movie. So, but Carroll Lynch, he plays the kid Simon's father. So, but Carroll Lynch, I like him as an actor. He's never to me. I never thought he was that bad of an actor, you know. So, but he's Reese Witherspoon's boss. He's the police captain, and so and and Richard T. Jones, he's in this. He's a marshal. Richard T. Jones, I remember him from Event Horizon, which I liked him in that film. And here, he was kind of, to me, he was one of the better parts of the movie, though. But sad to say, he gets killed, though. Although, because he's not in the film that much, but he gets killed early. So, because Reese gets assigned to the field with U.S. Marshal Richard T. Jackson to protect Sofia Vergara and her husband, because they had to testify against this cartel leader. So, one thing leads to another. Bad guys show up. They kill Sofia Vergara's husband. They kill Richard T. Jones. Sad to say. So, they then this when it hits off from there. Reese Witherspoon and Sofia Vergara, they're on the run. And it's kind of like, in a way, it kind of becomes like a version of Midnight Run, which I'm sorry to say it's still a much better movie than this. And just from then on, they're just trying to get from point A to point B, and just trying to from the Mexican I think it was the Mexican cartel. I think it was. And the jokes they're just a bunch of lame jokes. Like, there's more where Reese Witherspoon gets hit with a bunch of cocaine, and I also know one other thing with Reese Witherspoon's character. She's always like she's that type of cop who plays by the book. It was kind of like what which is still a much better movie for a cop film. Hot Fuzz, which I reviewed a while ago. Like Simon Pegg's character, Nicholas Angel, he's strictly by the book, always follows the rules, She's kind of like that, though, but Hot Fuzz is still much better and much more funnier movie than this, with a better cast, like with Simon Pegg and Nick Frost, And Timothy Dalton is in it as well, too, so. I love Hot Fuzz. That's a much better cop movie than this. Much funnier, but a much better character. The character Nicholas Angel, Simon Pegg's character, is much better of a cop character than Reese Witherspoon is. So, and then one thing leads to another. That they meet with these cops, which I kind of knew they were dirty cops, and all along they meet with this guy named Randy, who has an ankle bracelet because I think because he was he's a criminal with an ankle bracelet because he hit his sisters, I think. And then for some reason, her sisters had an abusive boyfriend, and that's why he got the ankle bracelet for. But then but this guy for some reason starts becoming, has a thing with Reese Witherspoon's character. So, and the whole thing that they have this briefcase because it has shoes in it, because it's the shoes have diamonds on them. They're worth a lot of money. It's like a, that's what the case was. It has shoes that's filled with diamonds. That's what they're after for. So, and then they go to a bus. They hitch a ride on a bus, which it turns out to be full of old people. And then one thing leads to another, that Sofia Vergara, I know that she knocks out Reese Witherspoon, and she's gonna take him to they're talking to the bad guys, that she wants to kill the cartel. She wants to kill the lead cartel boss because she killed her brother. He killed her brother. So, and she doesn't want to testify. She wants revenge, basically. But Reese Witherspoon doesn't let her do it. She's the one who's taking out the bad guys. And one thing leads to another, that learned that her boss, John Carroll Lynch, the captain, he's a turncoat. He's a dirty cop as well. He's a bad guy too. So, and she does the same. She pulls the same thing from earlier. What landed her in the evidence locker. She does the same thing. She pours alcohol on John Carroll Lynch and sets him on and tases him and sets him on fire. And then Reese Witherspoon, she shoots the lead cartel because she didn't want Sofia to do that. Always, she would have gone to jail. So now it's well, she would have gone to prison anyway though, but she would got the charges would be much more serious if she did though. But it shows it skips 3 months and now Sofia is out of prison. So. And now that the character Randy is now with Reese, and they all go off on their merry ways. So, yeah, there's not much though. But I barely remember this movie, whatever little bit of knowledge that I had of it. But I remember though, it wasn't funny though. And well, speaking of it, there was a song called Black Betty, I think it was. I've heard that plenty of times. In other films, I think it was in the Dukes of Hazzard as well, the 2006 film of the Dukes of Hazzard with Johnny Knoxville. I've heard a couple other films. I mean, I think it's a song. It's like this, like they keep it's like they keep using the song, "Don't Stop Me Now" from Queen. I've heard that song a lot of times in movies. Well, the thing is, I like that song too. That's a much better song, but I've heard that a lot of times in films. I think that the best one of that song it worked best when it was in Shaun of the Dead. That's where I first heard it though, but in that movie. But that song worked best in Shaun of the Dead, and it was cool to hear it in Hardcore Henry as well. But I heard it. I heard it in Shazam. I heard it in the first Sonic movie, and I even heard it when it was in the last Venom movie, where he was running through the desert on the Venom horse, and that song was playing too. I'm like, this song has been overused so much, And the same thing with Black Betty. I've heard this quite a few times in other films too. So I'm like, I think it's time we had to not to use these songs anymore because. I think these songs become overbearing in all these other movies, So, but yeah. I did not like this film. I mean, Reese Witherspoon, if it was a better script, and handled better, which, well, I don't trying to put a Texan accent and she fails on that. I don't buy that. I don't buy the chemistry between these two. I mean, the chemistry between Robert De Niro and Charles Grodin was much better. I didn't buy these chemistry between these two here. The jokes, like I said, were not funny. And Richard T. Jones I like, but he gets killed off early in the movie. Go figure. He was good in Event Horizon, but he was one of the best parts in this, but nope. So, yeah. And how long was this on for? Yeah, it's just 87 minutes, but it was just getting slow. It was dragging on, but the pace was much better than this, and this was a 2-hour movie, and the pacing was much better than this. And the casting here wasn't much though. I mean, John Carroll Lynch I like though, but just not much to his character. Except he turned out to be a bad cop. Robert Kazinsky, who plays Randy, he was trying his best. I mean, there wasn't much overall that great of a cast. I mean, here the cast was much better. I mean, not only you have Robert De Niro and Charles Grodin, you have the late Yaphet Kotto, rest in peace to him. John Ashton, who recently just passed away earlier this year. John Ashton from the Beverly Hills Cop movie. Dennis Farina, and Joe Pantoliano, and from the director of the first Beverly Hills Cop film. like so yeah, the cast was obviously was much better than here in this. So, but yeah, Midnight Run was much better. That's gonna be the next one we would get to. But Hot Pursuit wasn't a funny movie at all. It sucked. So, yeah, I mean Reese Witherspoon, Sofia. I'm not big on. I wasn't a huge fan. I'm not a huge fan of Sofia Vergara to begin with, anyway. I mean, Reese Witherspoon, she's not one of the worst. I mean, there's a couple of movies I don't mind her in, but not in this movie. So, yeah, but that's Hot Pursuit. It sucked. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for the next one. That's of this one, and we'll see you next time. Later.